backstage after the funeral. Son passed away. He picked up her son's body and started to prepare for the funeral. However, Melvin was forced to evacuate due to Hurricane Rita, so he took the body with him. Melvin says he eventually returned with the body and provided him with a proper funeral, but he has yet to be paid for his services. Defendant Tiffany Jenkins says her son passed away at the age of 11, but she feels he's in a better place because he was extremely sick. Tiffany admits that Melvin held a funeral for his son, but she doesn't feel she should have to pay because no costs were ever discussed, and she was unhappy with his services.
All right, tell me what happened.
Well, Your Honor, on about September 17th, I get a call from Ms. Jenkins that her son died, Deshaun Bundage, and I immediately went over and made the removal and done everything necessary for the funeral for Deshaun. But during that time, we had a mandatory evacuation. Hurricane Rita came through. So we all had to evacuate. So me being the professional that I am, I took his son and I evacuated him from Houston and took him to Taylor, Texas. And so after everything was clear to come back, I brought him back to Houston and we proceeded with the funeral arrangements.
Before you continue, let me see if she wants to give me any background.
My son had cerebral palsy. He was 11 years old when he passed away. He did pass away September 17th. It was my birthday. He's in a better place now. I did not contact Mr. Alexander. My cousin contacted him. Originally, Deshaun's body was already at another funeral home. We didn't have the insurance on Deshaun. Mr. Melvin Alexander told me, you know, I know that y'all don't have any money, but we can do this for as cheap as possible, and we'll take care of it. We went and got Deshaun from that funeral home he was at because Mr. Alexander said it was more expensive there.
Because of the weather?
No.
Oh, so you removed the child from Houston because Rita was threatening.
Yes.
Took him to another area,
yes,
and then brought him back to the Houston area,
yes,
where the services were performed.
Yes.
Oh, so go ahead.
Okay, now after we did that, I went on to provide the services. I made arrangements for police escorts, programs, drawings, the casting, and everything else. And actually, the funeral was supposed to be September the 23rd. The funeral didn't actually go down until 10-2, 10-1 or 10-2, something like that. And, you know, we provided the services that was asked for, 2 limousines and all of that type of stuff. And I think Tiffany still owes me $2,310.
When you say you think, what are you basing your thoughts on?
Well, Your Honor, I believe she paid me some, but during that hurricane, some of my records was lost, some of my books was lost, and I do know that we did pay for some of the items that were requested.
Now, if she has paid and if not, what does she believe she owes? Because so you don't sound so good. You say your records were lost.
I don't believe I owe Mr. Alexander anything, first of all. No monies were discussed with me about how much everything was going to cost, including him being evacuated, how long we would have to be gone, how much it was going to cost per day to store, not anything, not even the flowers. The flowers he says that he set up for, they were all fake. Not one thing.
What about the funeral services that were performed in the return back?
Okay, he did the whole thing. He drove the family car, which was one limousine. He also did the funeral procession. I don't know exactly. We paid a payment of $5 to him, but then he also took up a collection at the funeral.
You don't know the money you were paying to him was to go toward any of the funeral services?
Yes, the part of the money that we paid for him was for the casket itself. But he's saying, he was telling me later that it was not paid for. And I also don't even know how much they took up at the collection. No, I paid $700. That's what we had. Like I said,
what amount you paid toward the funeral services?
I have no idea how much of a collection was taken up at the funeral.
asking about you.
Yes, that's all.
Total amount you paid the $700.
Yes, the total amount that
When
I
did the
paid.
collection take?
After funeral, the day of the service.
Where were you?
I was there.
You never bothered to ask
At the time, I wasn't in emotions.
about it later.
Later on, he never did tell me again about any money that he owed me, so I figured that
You
it was
never
taken
came
care
home
of.
with that. So you assumed the collection took
Yes.
care of it.
Yes.
And she says you never approached her
That's not
about any
true.
remaining balance.
That's not true. That's
You
not
told
true.
her about it.
I approached Tiffany the day of the funeral.
What you say?
When I went to pick her up, I said, Tiffany, I still have about Mr. Alexander, I have some checks. And after the funeral, I will be able to take the collection. Yes.
You mentioned next that year.
Yes. $200. What did you tell her? $200. That is that. The same day.
When was the next day that you followed up? When you were paid?
Monday. But Saturday, I talked to
The
Tiffany.
funeral was Saturday.
Saturday.
And on Monday what occurred?
She told me to come, and so I called Tiffany.
She told you to come where? To your home?
To our home. Went to our home, there's no one there.
Okay, so did you ever reach her that day?
No.
When was the next time you did reach her?
I have not talked to Tiffany until somewhere like about November.
And what did you all discuss then?
Well, I asked Tiffany about those checks. She said she had some bills to pay. And so she
Did you tell her how much you owed?
Yes, sir. I have
In November you told her.
Yes,
You
sir.
said, Tiffany, you owe me what amount?
I told Tiffany she owed about $400.
Here we go.
He never shot me.
In mid-November, did you speak with him?
No,
When was the last time you spoke with
the
him?
last time I spoke with Mr. Alexander was sometime this year that just passed in November.
That's what he said.
And I just spoke to him passing by. We didn't discuss any funeral expense.
Okay. Why do you think he, without discussing it with you, just decided to sue you? Most people don't do that.
I'm not sure. I understand that my cousin's been say that his funeral business is not going well. I don't know. All I know is he has been knowing since the beginning. There was no money.
Ma'am, I'm inclined to believe him. Most people do not file lawsuits without first trying to collect their money. He's going through a tremendous inconvenience to do so. People don't take themselves through such an inconvenience before calling and saying, are you going to pay me and when you're going to pay me? He said he has never done that since the funeral, and I don't believe that. All right, does the witness want to speak? Come on up. State your name.
I'm just on the funeral prayer.
What do you want to tell me?
Well, first of all, at the time, she didn't have me so the number that you and tried to contact her, it would have been my mother. So he couldn't have knocked me.
He said, let me show him the look at this.
Well, I did that one time, but once again, if he came to the house that he was talking about was my mother.
You said they spoke. How do you account for that?
Well, I don't know if he spoke to her then, but
She said he did.
he said that after the funeral.
She said in November, did you just hear? She said, I spoke with him in November.
Yes, but how do you account for that? What I'm saying is about the phone call.
We're talking about money. That's what we're talking about. Do you have anything to say about that? Thank you. That's what we're talking about. Take care of me.
That was like them all of a life celebration by Franklin the funeral home.
What do you want to tell me? What you think to promotion?
But the charges, I wrote the checks they paid for that the service was held at and was held at the funeral home. And they died. I wrote the check to the pastor.
What was the total amount that you paid?
The total amount of checks that I paid for was around $3,000.
All right. And who was to repay that?
The family,
All right. And what do you know if they haven't paid?
nothing.
All right. She said she paid $700. And you said she paid something.
Yes, she paid
So if I'm to believe that she paid $700 and you say there was another $200 in the collection,
Yes.
so that would make it $900 just toward his $3,000 payment. So there would be a balance of $2,100. And that's going to be a judgment because, ma'am, I do believe he attempted to collect his money. I think you're being dishonest with me when you say he saw you in November, you all spoke, and he never mentioned his money. Instead, he just proceeded with this lawsuit. You also give me A lot of sketchiness in your testimony regarding how much you paid, when you paid it, and this gentleman testified to writing $3,000 worth of checks. You testified to paying $700. He testified to collecting $200. As such, I'm going to grant $2,100 on the deck. Thank you, Judge.
Find games easier than finding your remote. Get 100 plus channels of live sports, movies, and TV in one place. YouTube TV. Try it free. Terms apply. Until the time.
Friends for 26 years. She even helped him care for his elderly mother. Delsey claims she thought the defendant wanted an intimate relationship. But when she waited for him in his bed one night, she was shocked to see another woman in his bed. Delsey suing her former friend for an unpaid credit card bill. Attorney Harrison Kern admits Delsey allowed him to use her credit cards because he went through a large sum of money during a short period of time because he was caring for his elderly mother. Harrison claims the only reason he stopped paying the bill was because Delsey took his name off the unmarked house where he was using his payment.
wife for a number of years, stepped in and told me that she would help me. So during that particular period of time, as I was going through things, many times I would speak out loud, out of frustration about, just that situation, other things that I was doing, the kind of money I was having to spend. And so she kept offering, these cards and things to use to actually, release some restraint. What you say, speak out loud. What do you do? I'm complaining. I'm around the house complaining about some of the stuff that's going on. And she was around helping me. And it just happened to be running you who read about my biggest complaint. The one she heard and responded to involved money. No, she actually started helping me with my money. The one you're being sued about today is the response she made towards your money issue. To some extent, but it still has to do with my mother and the things that transpired after that. Because what ultimately ended up happening after some initial, offers that I turned down in terms of using it, eventually I did agree to. Now, at that point, those cards actually were changed. Not changed, but my name was actually put on the card. So I wasn't actually going out using the card with me.
When we got into that part, telling me about the change of the name.
Nobody got that.
All right, let her get to that.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So one night, I took his mother, because his mother is a Christian. One night I took her to see the Pilgrim to Believe, and when I got back to the house, I did her care, put her in bed, and then when I went to my overnight bag, because I was going to spend the night there, so when I went to my overnight bag and I opened it up, Harrison had bought me this beautiful, beautiful gift box of Vera Wayne perfume. And I knew that for him to do something like that for me, he must have really cared about me, because Harrison is the type of man that's going to be spending money or buying gifts for women. So I had made up in my mind that night that I was not going to sleep in the room with his mom, that I was going to sleep in his bed. I was lying in his bed, and about an hour had passed, and then it seemed like somebody was in the room with me. So when I rolled over, there was this girl standing there. And I had been in this house all that time, and I never knew she was there. He never told me that he had a friend that had flown in from out of town.
She was standing over you.
Well, sort of. He has a king-size bed, so, she was kind of far away from me because I was on the opposite side.
Was she a police officer?
I don't know. I don't know what she was.
You would have known.
Well, I didn't know. So what she said was, probably not. I don't know. Well, it might have been the other way around.
Go ahead.
And at that time, I was thinking, okay, I know Harrison's going to come in the room and tell me what's going on. But he never came in. About a half an hour later, she came back in. This time when she came back in, she said, okay, would you like me to turn off the lights for you? And I said, no. So at that time, I got up, I got dressed, and I told Harrison that I was leaving. So the next morning, I called Harrison. I said, Harrison, I'm calling the agency. I'm going to give them like 2 weeks notice, and I will be back. And I didn't have a chance to say anything.
Because again, none of these cards had a balance.
Let me go back to her. See, she's suing you. So she has to explain her case, and then I have to let you respond. You've been important enough as an officer or prosecutor.
I want to respond. And what the
she hasn't said anything for you to respond to. Other than this wishful love affair or actual love affair or whatever it was. Don't you see you only want to talk about the cars?
That's what I'm thinking to talk about now. That's what I'm thinking to talk about right now.
Police officer, man. The cars, man. Only the cars. All right. Facts, man. Only the facts.
All right.
Cars.
Okay.
Let's talk about that.
Okay. So I called it. I was calling Harrison, and I was leaving a message. I said, Harrison, I know our friendship is over. I said, could you please continue to pay on my card? Because at that time he had two of them. Now for June.
How did you get the second? You didn't get
I gave him both at that same day. But I'm going to
July of 06. You gave him two cards?
I gave him a Lowe's card and a Home Depot card.
All right. And he was to pay on both?
Yes, sir.
All right. Is he paid everything, the old man?
No, sir.
What has he failed to pay?
He has failed to pay $4,700.
For both cards? Charges on both cards?
He's already paid me for the Lowe's card.
Now, sir, I know you like to get the things really quick and really serious. So, do you owe $4,707 on a Home Depot card?
I may. I don't know exactly what the amount is, and this was the issue. To make a long story short, from summer last year of 2006 until now, Delcy began working actually for my mother through an agency, so we were actually close proximity on a regular basis. During December of last year, my mother took it down with her, but she was in the house a lot and was going through quite a bit. So Delcy was around quite a bit, actually over and above and beyond what the job required her to do. In February, second week in February, there was an incident by which we had gone to a recital. It was a recital that was done that Delcy was a part of. That she asked to take my mother.
So I'm going to have to cut you off and ask you, why don't you think you owe her the total amount, or why don't you know how much you owe?
I don't know exactly.
Very good. Do you have evidence of how much he owes?
Yes.
Let's see it.
Okay, Your
Do
Honor.
you recall the last time you paid anything on it?
Up until I couldn't get access. That's what I was
July 9th.
When was that?
in July.
July of 07?
July of 07.
All right. Couldn't get access in July of 07. Did he have exclusive use of it?
Yes, he did.
From
There's the proof
July
right there.
of 06 to July of 07?
Yes.
Is that true?
I believe so. I
All
don't
right,
know.
very good. You don't know whether he had it. She believes, and she has shown me evidence. $4,704. You can get going now.
Says he and the defendant had a casual relationship, but they stopped talking after the defendant keyed his car. Edgar says after that they had protected sex one time. 3 months later, the defendant claimed to be pregnant with his child. He claims that Enid was not the father of the baby, so he sued to attorney fees and the paternity test. Defendant Cambria Perry insists she and Andrew were in a committed relationship. And Cambria claims they might have questioned the paternity of her son until his paychecks were being garnished for bad child support. At which point, her son was 4 years old. Would be present.
Your Honor, here in the defendant, we look at how it's best to do. We look at pretty casual relationship. There was nothing too serious between the two of us.
I have attended family functions with him in family photographs. I spent weeks at his house. I brought my family members and my friends to spend weeks in time at his house. So, I don't think casually.
That's the difference from 12 years to Justin. After that, we lost contact with the conflicts of interest. By now, there was any investments together or something. We all working together and we got so
he found out that I was pregnant, I told him because I took like 3 or 4 tests before I even told him. And it was raining one day.
Did you have protected sex? That's what he left off.
No, sir.
All right. Unprotected sex. Did you request a deep conversation with his mother?
I told him myself.
Your mother put her hand up. You want to speak?
Yes, please.
State your name.
Your Honor, my name is Janetta B. Woods.
What do you want to
Kendria phoned me in the month of September, and she said that she had something she would like to discuss with me. I did give her permission to come up to speak with me. While there, she and I were talking together. She told me that she was expecting, and I was surprised because both of them was in college, and I said, oh, I was very shocked. And she thought of abortion, and I said, well, you know, if it is indeed our son, that is not even an option. We don't even believe in that. Also, if it is indeed my son, he will step up to the plate. He will do the moral thing to do and the ethical thing to do, and I will be supportive.
All right, thank you. Let me allow you to continue, sir. So she had this conversation with your mother, and then obviously she had a conversation with you?
Yes, sir.
How did you all come to find that it wasn't yours, and how long afterwards?
Actually, it was 2 years after the baby was born. I started dating a female in April.
Why 2 years?
Because she put me on child support after I started dating someone for 2 years.
What was happening in between the time the child was born and 2 years?
There were no problems. My mother was...
Were you assuming fatherhood?
Yes. Actually, the day the child was born, my mother was there as well, and you know, what mom says the gospel.
Okay, so mom encouraged you to assume responsibility. Very good. And 2 years later, somehow you found out it wasn't your child. Let me hear her side.
First of all, unlike how he's trying to say,
Okay, bro.
we're in a relationship.
Okay.
We got in a relationship with someone else while our son was like 5 months old. So I cut off intimate contact with him, but we stayed civil for the sake of our son. Okay. He never questioned the paternity of our son. Not when he was born. You know, he delivered him. He signed paternity papers. They told me he had 60 days to get a DNA test, and he didn't do that then. So he never, as time went by, he didn't pay any support, so I put him in the court system.
When did he first decide to deny paternity?
After he started working full-time job and they got him switched check, like 2005.
When the child was born?
In 2000.
All right. So, assuming fatherhood as you know. At some point you decided not to assume fatherhood because you saw the paternity test. Child support for one little test.
Yes, sir.
All right. What occurred when he told you that he doubted it was his child in the year 2004?
He never told me to this day.
All right. Sir, you must prove today that she intentionally deceived you into believing that the child was yours. Can you provide me with evidence or testimony of any kind? If she know it was not your child?
I think you got it because she
No, you must prove it.
Because she was listening to someone else.
Okay, what time frame?
I don't know that, but
Well, you must tell me in order to prove your case that she may have known it was someone else because she was intimate during a time frame. We don't know what that time frame was.
you know, I can't prove what she found out or what she did, but I can prove I realized it once I had my paternity test
So
results.
that could have occurred when? Day one, couldn't it?
Yes, sir.
But instead you believed it was yours,
Correct.
like she did.
She also told my mother, you know, that she had not slept with anyone, you know, she didn't want 100% her word 100%, so we really didn't want to doubt it that much. My sister stayed in her life.
Find out otherwise.
Yes, I did find out about something about hearsay.
That's why I asked you, what time frame did you hear she had been involved sexually with another man?
After the fact that we found out that he wasn't true.
What time frame, one last time, did she have sex with another man to your knowledge? Okay, so you can't prove that she had sex with someone else, therefore putting in question whether you were the father. Ma'am, what reason do you believe in 2004 he suddenly began to think it was not his child?
He started a full-time job, and he wasn't doing barbering anymore, and it started garnishing his wages, and he didn't want to pay the money.
Out of this
So he
check.
went behind. It's not the fact that that was DNA test, but he still hadn't come to me. I found out about his DNA test from like 6 was a
He never intentionally tried to misrepresent the pregnancy. The question, as you heard the paternity for 4 years, he says the reason he didn't question the paternity because he didn't have the $500 to do so. I don't believe it. I don't believe that he questioned it because he didn't have the money. Rather, I believe he questioned it because he didn't want that coming out of your salary, as she said. And she didn't misrepresent anything based on what you told me. You have not proven she misrepresented her belief that it was your child. Instead, everybody here today involved in this case believed it was your child until it was time to pay child support off the check. Your case is dismissed. You have not proven that she deceived you. Have a good day. Thank you.
Is engaged to the defendant's stepfather, and Donna never cared for the defendant. Donna claims the defendant was a bad influence on Donna's minor son because she showed off her long underwear in front of him. Donna suing her today for unpaid rent because she allowed the defendant and her boyfriend to stay with her. Defendants Shereen Hoskins and Daniel Perkins say Donna is the one who's a bad influence on her son because she rolls joints and smokes marijuana with him. Shereen says she never agreed to pay Donna any rent, and her countersuing for emotional distress. Like you.
Okay, in person engaged to Shereen stepfather that's on my way in my relationship, being very careful. Just her lifestyle. Loud, annoying, controlling. But when people go 17 was in an abusive relationship with their last boyfriend, I was in education. My fiance had talked to the sheriff's office saying she was in education. She was a patient. I wasn't home at the time. When I did get home, I would do it only for a few days. I would just like she told herself and maybe have custody of my minor son. I came home a few times. She was not in her underwear in my living room because of her and my son. My son could testify.
It's wrong, oh, okay, come on up. She might have probably suspended you if you had still me offended? Yes, I was. I mean, there was one time, yes. I will admit, one time you enjoyed it. No, I did not enjoy it. One time, what? No, there was one time that she did it. Like, I was sitting in the room, and so was there, and she came out, she was showing him, and I was like, just looking, I'm like, why are you doing that? Showing? Oh, not giving her the voice. She was showing them. And that offended you? Yes. Because I don't need to see that. I mean, back then, I did think of her as a sister. Was holding them up offended you? Yeah. They what?
My son, where she was at. And June of this year, we were both looking for a place in entry because our landlord ended up in the nursing home. They said, I'll change it. Yeah.
When did that go respond to these other allegations? Ma'am?
Yeah, when typically I do speak loudly. I just, something I've always done. I spent 7 years in foster care. And it's been very hard for me these past few years since I've been out. But I've been trying. I worked 2 jobs. And I had, like she said, an altercation with my ex-boyfriend. And then there was my family. It's my stepfather. But he was the closest thing until now that I had my father.
Your biological mom.
We don't even care about her. I had no other place I could go when the sheriff's called.
I'm afraid she would be a bad influence on her son. Yes, you said that. Oh, maybe you rolling joints with him and smoking him in your own home be a bad influence? Oh, sure.
Your son does.
He sure does. And when he smoked a little bit one day, don't tell me he isn't. Okay, do you have any knowledge of your son smoking marijuana? I didn't ask you at that time. Anytime. You have knowledge of that.
I have knowledge of it. I tell my grandparents first.
Excuse me. That's good that you need to. Don't care for her, don't care for your son.
I'll get my son something.
No, you don't care for him smoking pot, I'm sorry. Let's get to the rent you're suing about.
Okay, in April, when Shirley and Dan both were staying in my home, Dan was paying his sister $100. They told us my fiance was in the room. He said, no, $100 is a little much. Saving $75 a week so you can save some money and find a place. No. That was it. That was all we heard. She did agree to put some food in the house in April, nothing May and June. They prepared food elsewhere and ate elsewhere. I was also paying for the house.
Tell me what the agreement on rent was specifically.
$75 per week.
They did agree to that.
She agreed to it. She said she had talked to Mr. Cook. So that was all we heard.
She never got back to you.
No, not in that focus.
Let's see what you say.
No, there never really was a rental agreement. I have a signed statement from my stepfather stating that there was never rent to be paid.